Hey guys, it's RJ back again with another tutorial video for you, and for today, I'll be showing you how to make a TikTok dance animation video like this. Now if you enjoyed that, make sure you tune in until the very end because I'll be showing you the whole animation process. I've also created a template of the rough pass animation so you can draw your own character and follow along with this tutorial. You can find that template in the description below. So, let's get started. The first thing I did was to find a reference video and import it as a PNG sequence in my animation software, Toon Boom Harmony. Most animators who do this kind of dance animation use the technique called rotoscoping, and the first step of this animation is exactly that. We are tracing each frame of the imported video to capture the movement of the character. I've actually made a video on what rotoscoping is and the step-by-step process on how I use this technique to create the rough pass animation. You can find that video right here at the top right corner of your screen or in one of the links in the description below. But basically, the process is to just trace the dance sequence frame by frame. One time-saving tip that I have for you is to create an animation with a 12 frames per second frame rate rather than the usual 24 frames per second frame rate. This dance sequence takes about 14 to 15 seconds, and if you are going to use a 24 frames per second frame rate, go figure out the math on how many drawings you have to do. I sure don't want to waste my time drawing 350 drawings 3 times. So if you use 12 frames per second, you'll be cutting the work in half and still get a very good animation sequence. In most cases, characters are animated in twos, which is the equivalent of a 12 frames per second frame rate. So you're not really cheating or anything, you're just doing what everybody else is doing. Anyway, after about 6 hours of drawing this sequence of rough pass animation, I was pretty happy with the way it looked. Again, you can download this video in one of the links in the description below if you don't want to spend that 6 hours creating the rough pass animation. Now, if you are new to this channel, I just want to quickly welcome you and introduce myself. My name is RJ and I'm a self-taught animator. I got into animation because of the pandemic, and ever since then, I have been on a mission to improve my skills and learn more about the art of animation. I created this channel with the intention to share all the things I'm learning, so if you can relate to my story or just interested in following me on my animation journey, hit the subscribe button, press the notification bell, and like this video. I'd appreciate it so much as it really helps me grow this channel so I can create more animation tutorials for you. Now it's time to draw our characters on top of this. But there's a twist. We're not only drawing one character, but 6 characters throughout the dance sequence. So we have to figure out the frames where we will be switching the characters. If you are familiar with the similar TikTok dance animation videos, you can simply copy the transitions they have. I definitely use it as my reference, but I wanted to make sure that each character has about the same screen time. Luckily, the dance itself has about 6 to 7 unique steps in it, so I basically just planned my character switching when the dance steps change. The first character I've been drawing is the Attack Titan or Eren, and the way I created this is to focus on one part at a time. First, you saw the head and the feet, and now the body and the legs. This technique really helps me get into flow when I am animating because I can see the whole sequence every time I finish a part. I also tend to copy the previous drawings and edit and move it slightly if there's some similarities with the angle from the previous frame. This technique saves me a lot of time and also quite useful when you are doing your cleanups. And yes, in this case, I'm doing a cleanup already and skip the whole tie-down process because I want to save time. In animation, you always need to make sure you are being economical with your time, especially if you're on it alone. Obviously, as I develop some skills, these techniques will change over time. I'm training myself to draw real fast with gestural drawings right now, and I really hope that it helps me develop my speed in animation. I am showing you some quick highlights for each Titans, but I won't be going into too much detail for each of them as the process stays the same. It's just drawing different details for each of them, which can be quite fun to do because the style I created was to simplify those details. Since I'm doing one part at a time, it was important that I merge all the layers for each Titan and that I trim all the overlapping lines before proceeding to the next step. Here's the animation after I finish the whole cleanup process. For the coloring of this animation, I made use of the color art layer and created invisible strokes from my line art. Before, I usually just copy my line art drawings and color my drawings there. While there is nothing wrong with this technique, it just wouldn't work the way I want it to if I created my line art with a textured brush. It will leave some gaps between the line art and the paint. However, since we are using Toon Boom's interface to automatically create those invisible strokes from the line art, it will always have some few misses here and there. So this is why during this painting process, there are small gaps being left even though there is no line art. At this point, I haven't found a better way to avoid this, so I simply have to go back and make sure I paint those again, either with the paint bucket tool or with the brush. Sometimes I even miss some lines in my line art, which creates a gap that can't be painted. Again, I just have to manually go back to fix my line art and paint these areas. This can be quite tedious, but as you do more of this, you'll get the hang of it and pick up some techniques along the way to save time and fix or avoid those simple mistakes. Practice makes perfect, so you must love the craft so much that you are willing to put in the work no matter what it takes. I then added some motion blurs at the frames where there is a huge movement that happened to enhance the animation. I created this with a simple brush tool using the same color as the hand or feet of the characters. Motion blurs are a very handy tool to use in animation because it enhances them in ways only animations can do. After the coloring, I imported the PNG sequence in After Effects to add some highlights and shadows. I have another video on the step-by-step process on post-production techniques for character animation, which you can check in the link at the top right corner of your screen right now, or the description below. Basically, adding some highlights and shadows using layer styles and adding a drop shadow by copying the composition, creating a black matte finish, and using the transform effects to skew the shadows to the ground. I also added some motion blurs to really enhance the movement and smoothen out the animation. I also created a quick transition between characters by making them glow when they make the switch. I copied my composition and created an alpha matte and applied an inner and outer glow layer styles to it. I then drew a background for this scene. I wanted to create a wall and have the colossal titan peeking above it. I wanted to keep the background as simple as I could, but sometimes when I start painting, I want to make it look as good as I can, even though I hate doing backgrounds. After a few trial and error on the texture and treatment of the painting, I just simplified it as much as I can because I don't want to draw too much attention to it. The main attraction was in the animation. I then imported this in After Effects, but I realized how dark the composition became. so I tried adding some additional lighting by converting my composition to a 3D comp. I added a point light with a white color and a spotlight with a more yellow tone and played around with the intensities. I was quite happy with the way it looked in the end, and there's a sense of smokiness in that matches the feeling I get in the anime. After adding the music, this is my final animation. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video, and let me know what you like to see more about these animation tutorials that I'm doing for this channel. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, keep on creating so you can make this world more beautiful with your imagination.